Oh, yeah. Welcome back to the World Championship Series, Europe Season 3 Premier League. And as you can see, we have some very hearty StarCraft fans with us here at Studio One in Cologne. Welcome back to WCS Europe. It is our final season of 2014. Oh. But don't worry, because we have 4 days of extraordinarily good European StarCraft action coming your way, starting right now. Today, we're going to concentrate on Group A. Group B tomorrow, and then next week, a little break for the players, 2 days, and we'll finish off Group C and D. We have 16 players, fantastic players, having come through the round of 32, and they have been fighting their way through. We've got a Spaniard, we've got a Frenchman, a Dutchman, a German, a Pole, a Finn, a Dane, a Swede, and a Russian, and 7 Koreans. All in the round of 16 for WCS Europe Season 3's Premier League. We also have a bit of a sad news tonight as well, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, Kalaris couldn't be with us. I know he's at home right now watching, crying into his bucket with a sore face, having had a tooth out today and also having swollen glands. So our thoughts and prayers are with you, James, you rotten git. He should have been here, but instead, because he's not here, it gives us a chance to let this man out of his cage. Funker!
Hello?
In all seriousness, James, if you're watching, hope you get better soon, buddy, and hopefully we can get you back on the show either tomorrow or next week. Don't rush back. Funker's looking after your seat for you. He's keeping it warm. How you doing? We don't let you out very often.
Fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
You're looking great. Very suave, very sophisticated this evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Not that you don't always, of course.
Yeah.
Classy man. Round of 16 then. 16 great players. 4 groups of 4 as we ordinarily have in the round 16. Something a little bit different, though, this season with one of those groups being all European. That's a bit of a change for 2014. But I want to ask you, what do you think of these 4 groups? You've got a favourite one, haven't you?
I think my favorite group is Group D.
Yep.
Which is kind of fitting because it's the group of death.
Yes, Group D for death.
And we've got my boy Daishi going on against MC, 4GG, and Stardust.
It's a sick group.
It's horrible for him. Yeah. It's good for the viewers, but it's horrible for him.
No, it absolutely is. Poor day. She's got 3, not just Koreans, but top Koreans, all with pedigree in there. 4GG obviously has been here before, semi-finals last season. MC, previous winner of WCS Europe and GSL. Stardust, another previous WCS Europe winner as well. Really tough group. I like Group B. TLO, Sand, Vortex, Yoda. That's a spicy group as well, isn't it?
It is. With one of the fan favorites here, TLO.
Yeah, TLO.
In Germany, no, TLO. That's a sick group too. I mean, Sand, Vortex, Yoda, really great players too.
I hope you're not sucking up to the crowd already.
A little bit. I want them to like me.
Okay. They love you anyway. He's going to be doing our observing, of course, once we're going to be rushing up to the room and no cage, obviously, but just, doing a great job as ever. But helping us out here at the desk today as well. So we're going to get into our first group. 4 very different players, but 4 players that all have one thing in common, and that is that they are all European, which is a thing because actually it hasn't happened since season 1 of 2013. It's been a long time.
Yeah, we've got a really stacked group with only European players, which is really nice to see in WCS Europe, in my opinion. So Bunny, Harstem, Happy, Mini Razor, all really great players, different backgrounds, different races too. But I think we're gonna have some really great games.
Yeah, I mean, you can see their ranks on there, WCS-wise, 73, 97, 54. Only really Bunny out of those has an outside shot, and even then it's a very thin shot because it's so competitive in terms of getting to BlizzCon. This is the final WCS of the year, of course. It's also one of the last tournaments that they can qualify and get points as well. So really important for Bunny. I mean, realistically, the only way he's going to BlizzCon is he has to win this thing, the whole thing, can't do anything else. And on previous form, without any disrespect to him, and with the calibre of the players he's up against throughout to the final, that's looking quite a tall order.
That would have been difficult, but since 2 months ago, he's been performing really well. I mean, he won G3 in England, Gfinity, and I think that was the first time that he reached after round of 16, so round of 8, and he won the whole thing.
Yeah.
While beating great players. So Yun in the finals, so he's looking really good these days.
Funny, actually, because when we come to talk about Bunny and Harstem matching up, they've got something like that in common. Before we get there, let's take a look at the bracket. The brackets, of course, are played out in GSL format, as you know and love. It is win 2, and you are through into the gold boxes at the top. Harstem versus Bunny will be our first game. Happy versus Mini Razor following up. The winners will play each other for the first place in the group, and the other players will drop down to the lower bracket, eventually resulting in our first 2 players going through to the quarterfinals. As I said before, we're going to start off with Bunny versus Harstem. Let's talk about Bunny in a little bit more detail now. You mentioned had a great summer, won Gfinity, not a Premier tournament per se, but WCS points, very important. And it was more about the depth of the field, the talent in that field, the players he had to play against, players like Hyun, players like Stardust. And he had to kind of go up and beat these guys heads up, and he did that. And for me, it was like the first time that we've really seen him deliver on the potential that I think we've known he's had for a good probably 12 months or so now.
Yeah, if we can add, like, he did that in a really impressive way, actually. Like Stardust, he beat him really convincingly. The finals against Hyun was quite difficult to apprehend. I would thought that Hyun would win, but Bunny in the end just won, like, I think it was 3-1. So there was pretty convincing by Bunny. He's been playing really, really well the last 2 months. So he's a big contender, I think, in this group. Yeah,
I mean, it says on the graphic there he's probably the favourite, but I mean, we were discussing this upstairs before the show. It's actually really difficult to call. And it's difficult because of the way that the players match up against each other. They don't necessarily match up against their best race form, if you like. So, I mean, we'll talk about Harstem in a moment, but Bunny, for instance, we've already said, top 10 in the world right now, TVP. And he goes up against the Protoss, game 1. So you think, wow, that looks easy on paper. But let's talk about Harstem, because he is not an easy player to play. Came through another astonishing round of 32. Last season's was incredible. We were totally blown away with it. This season, maybe not quite as blown away with the fact that he came through, but more than blown away by the way that he played. Coming back from 1-0 down after losing on Nimbus to Jack G in the first game, beats him 2-1. Second time in a row he's beaten Jack G in WCS, and then absolutely dismantled Cass like he was a surgeon. I mean, he just literally pulled him apart and picked him off. So, brilliant play in round of 32, but the flip side of this is his form right now in PvT. 38.4% win rate, which, that might be lower than mine. Wow, I went there. No, I'm joking.
No, dude, you can't say that.
It's definitely not lower than mine. But it's poor by his standards, because we know, actually, when we watch him play Terrans, you just sit there in awe going, he knows how to do this. He's played this through. He's picking him off. He knows exactly what to go up against. I mean, apart from the first game against Jack G, which I think he tried to hedge his bets a little bit with the build and then got picked off for being a bit greedy. But other than that, his PvT has been absolutely fantastic. But the stats, for some reason, don't back that up. Why?
Yeah, I don't really know about that. Like, I just know that, as you said, in round of 32, he played really well against Jack G and Cass. So both PvTs that he won. He lost the game on Nimbus, which is a map that you could say is Terran favored. So, yeah, he doesn't have the greatest stats, but I think his form right now in PvT might be good for him. Like, he could think that he can beat Bunny, and he needs that. He needs the mindset to go into that game and try and beat Bunny, which is, as you said, top 10 in TVP, and that's including, like, Korean players. So, yeah. Bunny is going to be amazing, but I think Harstem has got a shot on this, really.
Okay. We are going to get into the map veto any moment now, hopefully. It's going to kick off, and we'll find out what maps they play, because I think that might just have a little bearing on this one. I'm pretty sure that Harstem's not going to let Nimbus go through, is he?
No Nimbus. Like, first veto, in my opinion. First veto.
He's looking over at me now. I don't know if we're trying to give him tips here, or he knows what he's doing already, but he looks quite tired, actually. I wonder why. He was doing warm-ups before. Did you see him?
Yeah, he was doing push-ups.
Yeah, doing push-ups and stuff before. Okay, so yeah, map veto on its way. They're doing that. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about in terms of Harstem, because it's similar in a way to Bunny. Bunny, you said earlier, you pointed out that he'd never been past the round of 8 until Gfinity, which he then went on to win.
And then he went.
Harstem has never been past the round of 16 at any tournament he has been to in the Premier tournaments, WCS or otherwise. Asus ROG, DreamHack Summer, DreamHack Valencia, DreamHack Bucharest, round of 32 in that one. Asus ROG Summer again, round of 16. So very consistent play over the last 12 months, and we know how far he's come in the last 12 months, but hasn't quite, delivered beyond the round of 16. Why do you think that is?
I don't really know. I mean, I think that consistency is like one of the best qualities that you can have as a pro player. So I think that's a good thing that Harstem is going really like deep into a tournament, like round of 16 consistently. But he needs to make the breakthrough, you know, and that goes by beating people like Bunny, which is no easy feat. Which so I don't really know if that's a mental block. I don't think it is. I just think he needs maybe the luck to get into the round of 8 and then really perform to his real level.
So maps decided: Foxtrot, Merry-Go-Round, Overgrowth.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 maps. So King Sejong didn't get through. It's actually one of the most popular maps from the round of 32, along with Overgrowth, mainly because I guess everyone's okay playing it regardless of race. But any surprises in that mix-up? Foxtrot, maybe? Did you expect that one to come through?
Merry-Go-Round is not an easy map for Paros. It's really hard to take a 3rd base. So I'm pretty sure Bunny knows that it's going to be like the main focus of it. That, you know, deny the 3rd base as you can. So I'm pretty excited about this map getting played because it's going to be hard for Harstem.
At this point, I usually ask our commentary or experts for their predictions, but I guess there's only really one question left to ask.
What year is this? Thank you.
Yeah, I think at least one member of the crowd got that, so that was good. If you know what year it is, then please do let us know via social media channels. You can do so using the hashtag #WCS and #YearOfHarstem. There's a little tip for you. We're also, of course, the official channels. Make sure you're following them at StarCraft on Twitter and Facebook.com/StarCraft for all the latest news on Heart of the Swarm and even maybe in the future, Legacy of the Void. It's coming. Not far away. Thank you very much, Funker, for now. He's going to disappear off to his cage and do some observing for our first game. And we are going to head over to our commentary team. We do have a special guest on that commentary team this evening. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Apollo alongside Hasselobs.
Thank you very much, Red Eye and Funker. Funker, you're doing an excellent job so far. But more importantly, welcome here to the casting desk, Hasselobs.
Hey, man. I'm feeling good.
Good.
It's been nice to be here again, yeah?
Yeah, it's good to have you. You've done some great commentary recently, and it's good to have you on our side here in the Cologne studios for WCS. As we're about to get underway with the first game of the round of 16 here in Group A. And what a game we do have to open up things. We have the player full of surprises in the WCS who advances in first play out of group shoot. You know, some people say he's not even going to make it out at all, versus Bunny up there with Snoot as the highest performing non-Korean in StarCraft 2 right now. This is a great start for the round of 16.
And his record against foreigners is insane. I think it's 15-0.
He's on a winning streak of 15-0. So 15 games in a row. Best of 3, best of 1s, best of 5s, any of those. So a remarkable performance. But Harstem has the capability to beat any Terran player, despite what the stats say. I mean, we talked about it before. He's beaten Jack G a couple of times in the round of 32. He's beaten Cass. He's beaten Bunny in last season as well in the round of 32. So here he is in the round of 16 on search for a potential first place ever to be on the round of 8. And here are those stats.
And whenever you ask him, he says that he feels very confident against Terran. And look at him, he's pumped.
Yeah, he was doing jumping jacks and press-ups, and he was watching motivational YouTube videos before he was ready to this, and I'm sure we're going to see him listen to some of his favorite tracks. He's quite well known for doing that in his top
and he's always singing in the start, right?
Yes, he sings. Most of the time. He's telling himself he's the best.
He is.
He's the best, man. Look at him. He is a killer. But
he did a lot of selfies before. I checked his Twitter.
He's had a lot of fun here already in the WCS, and had a lot of fun in Cologne. We've seen a lot of pictures, selfies over the last couple of days already. But he's going up against Bunny, Team Liquid's star, really, with Snoot, who's been performing so incredibly well recently. And, you know, the WCS stats are all-time, but in recent time, Bunny is absolutely one of the best performing Europeans there is.
Yeah, the last 2 or 3 months, I think, he became so much better. I don't know if he became better, but he actually showed the really good results in tournaments, because before that, every good player always said Bunny is very dangerous. You could always lose to him in ladder, and if that guy actually is able to get this performance in tournaments, he might be a very deadly opponent. And he's finally showing this performance in tournaments.
Yes, he is. So we're looking at a player who's never been to the round of 8 before. Bunny's won tournaments before. He's a great performing player. But funny enough, Harstem has only been in the Premier League twice before, last season and this season, and it took him over a year and a half to actually qualify for Premier League, trying from the very beginning of 2013. But since he's got gotten into the Premier League twice in the round of 16, so it is, you know, a good confidence boost to be at this quality and at this level now. But this is going to be a difficult group with Happy in the mix as well as teammate Mini Razor. Today, as Red Eye mentioned, is a group where you need to perform on the day because it is a close set of players.
Yeah, definitely. It's 2 Terrans, 1 Zerg, 1 Protoss. So it's very hard to prepare as well because you got every matchup. You have very different playstyles of Terrans, I'd say.
Right.
And yeah, the first map, by the way, is loading. It's going to be Merry-Go-Round. That's a little bit interesting. And I think that was the map choice of Bunny.
Yes, Bunny chose Merry-Go-Round. Second map, Overgrowth. Third, Foxtrot, if needed. Bunny with the outsider's chance still to qualify for BlizzCon, but losses are unacceptable.
He needs to win the whole thing.
Yes, he does. So here we are, game number 1 of the evening here in the World Championship Series Europe Premier League. The top 16 players go head-to-head. First up here to the top right-hand side as the red Protoss player, it is Fnatic's Harstem. Of course, the touch player who's going to be pumped. Likes to get himself very much so ready for the games beforehand. But he goes up against the blue Terran player down here in the bottom left-hand side from Team Liquid. It is, of course, Bunny. The Danish Terran player in our first group of all Europeans since 2013 Season 1, where there weren't many Koreans involved in WCS. So
not at all, yeah.
First time in a long time. So talk to us about this map here, Hazuobs. We have Merry-Go-Round, Protoss versus Terran. Talk to me from the Protoss side of things first.
It's actually very interesting to see the map because we were watching Harstem's best of 3s from the round of 32 against Jakji and Kars. And Merry-Go was never involved in these games as far as I remember. There was Overgrowth, there was King Sejong, there was Deadwing, like the more or less big maps. Yeah. I mean, Merry-Go is not small, but it's a 3-player map. And I'd say it's very hard to take a third base on Merry-Go as a Protoss. But I mean, Harstem told me that he has some very good aggressive builds, so maybe Merry-Go is one of the maps where he's going to do that.
All right, and a massive shout out, of course, to Fonka, who's not just our esports generalist on the front panel with Red Eye, but he's also our in-game observer. But Harstem's going to go down now. He's going to have a quick look, and he's spotted quite early where his opponent is, and he's seen now, and he's going to harass that SCV, building that command center first. And this is obviously a nice start for him, just to get a little bit of pressure on, obviously a little bit of damage as well. But, I mean, what is Harstem thinking upon seeing this? Maybe does that push him in a certain direction? Does that confirm what he may think?
I don't think so. I mean, it's a very standard opening. The question for me is, will Harstem mix up his playstyle? Because he scouted the CC first right away. Yeah. Was the quickest scout possible. But he's still mining gas at home. So he's still mining gas. He's getting a cyber core. He didn't mix up anything so far. So I think he will just go and stick to his plan, whatever his plan is.
All right, well, the probe now going to leave very, very shortly as the barracks now completing up. The SCV on the other side of the map is going to have a quick look inside that main base. There's the probe hiding there, not wanting to get blocked at all. And inside the SCV goes. Single gas opening here. So very standardized opening here from Harstem. And Bunny is going to have to think about leaving shortly as the mothership core is on its way. Does he now want to go hide that SCV for a potential follow-up scout here? Does he want to just send that back? Is when you open up command center first compared to the more regular opening, the Reaper, there's no form of scouting aside from that SCV, really.
I think you should hide it. That's a really good point, especially because the mothership core is most likely flying over. And that's exactly what we see here. Harstem is sending out his mothership core to maybe harass a little bit at the natural, maybe because his probe was doing damage to the SCVs already, so maybe he can pick off one of the SCVs. It's going to be hard, but it's definitely possible. And behind that, of course, he's taking the second gas, and everything looks like it's going to be very standard for Harstem.
Well, he's getting a sentry.
Oh, and that's, I think he told me about it, and I'm really looking forward to see if that's going to be the build, the very aggressive one. He told me that he practiced it a lot and it worked very, very well in practice games. But let's see if the mothership core can actually get something done.
Yeah, he's going to swing around here, but 3 Marines will push back immediately. Bunny, of course, has no SCV out in the open. He's got nothing there. But let's talk about Harstem. The sentry over the Stalker, which is the Stalker, is the main choice here. 50 gas compared to 100. Sentry being built in the early game in itself is huge because we usually see Protoss players go, 2 to 4 Stalkers. Why sentry? What could this mean? Why is it being built so early?
So it's even the second sentry, so that confirms what he told me, basically. And it's going to be, I think, 1 Immortal, 2 or 3 Colossus, and then he's going for a very big attack.
Okay.
He told me that he practiced it quite a lot, and it worked very well in the practice games, and he has an extremely high win ratio with it. He said it's still a little bit, like, not 100% precise yet, the build order, because he just started lately, but he feels good with it, and I think we will see it on Marigo.
All right, well, a couple of things here from Bunny's side of things. He's building a Reaper because he obviously wants to find out a little bit more about what's going on. But we talked about that SCV being hidden. If he'd gone in and seen just a single sentry, that is a huge scout.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Not having an SCV out there surely is a mistake here from Bunny.
Yeah, it's a slight mistake. The Reaper will most likely still confirm that there are 2 sentries and the Robo with Robo Bay, because I think the Reaper will be able to jump in. The sentries are splitting up right now. So maybe he will just spot one of them.
So far, Bunny's played a very standard game, but he goes in, sees a sentry here, and he's going to have a look inside the main base, sees the robotics bay, sees the robotics facility being worked on as well.
Oh.
And he's just working on a probe in the sentry. You backstabbing little guy, you blocked that probe.
Yeah, too bad.
What does Bunny see, and does he, I mean, so sees both the sentries, sees the tech structure set up. Does he now have an idea what's going on? Can he pick up the point of there being no stalkers and sentries?
Well, he didn't see the Immortal, right? So
no.
The Immortal is queued up, and I think the Immortal would have been a rather big tell. Everything else so far, I mean, you might be confused about the 2 sentries, but can you really read out that this is going to be an all-in or a very aggressive build?
Well, he's chosen a 3rd command center anyway, so let's just say no, he doesn't really know.
No. Oh, and Harstem will be so happy. His observer is on the way, and his observer will actually see the CC a few seconds after it started. This is a great scout for Harstem. And now 3 more gates, Colossus being chrono boosted, and I think it's exactly what we will see here. The 1 Immortal, 2 Colossus with range, and then he goes for it.
Well, the Reaper's having a look on the other side of the map right now on the 3rd base. Sees no 3rd Nexus. We'll see where he goes from that. But right now, Bunny not really sure what's going on. Like you said, maybe a little bit confused with the sentries, but still, I mean, you've got to be thinking about additional bunkers at this point. You've got to be getting ready to defend against this type of attack that we see coming from Harstem. No Forge, no Twilight. It's all dedicated towards this one big strike. Yeah, does Bunny have what it takes to potentially hold despite not knowing it happening right now?
I guess for Bunny, he just told himself, I'm going to play standard from here. Like, he doesn't know exactly what is going on. By the way, a small supply block for Bunny. It's a little bit annoying. And he's probably just going to play standard. His medivacs are on time. His 3rd CC is on time. He does have a bunker. He didn't salvage it. So,
yeah. Well, as you say that.
But the medivacs are all right. That's when you usually salvage the bunker.
Well, is he now going to start to spot what's going on? A Stalker enters the middle of the map. A Probe is swinging around this right-hand side. And very smartly, Bunny has a Marine.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And he's going to see this probe moving down. Stims immediately chases it back.
Kill it. Yeah, if he controls the Marine, like a little bit of moving shot, he might be...
He scans on top of things as well, sees units being warped in and units moving down from his natural. Now Bunny knows, finally, and we're going to see additional bunkers coming down. 2,
maybe 3 bunkers.
Yeah, and now he's got to make this hold. Does he have enough here? 3 bunkers just now?
Yeah, the Viking production just started. He does have quite a few of Marauders, 5 of them already. And Marauders are very good against attacks like this. But as you mentioned, the bunkers are very late, and the 2 sentries that are started so early do have 200 energy.
All right, Harstem's going to poke up this rat now, starting a couple of raids from these Colossus. Perfect force field there on the side. And another one down, but not really broken Bunny yet.
No, he didn't trap any of the Marines with the force fields, but at least he separated, or he was able to retreat a little bit because he needed another warp, and he's warping in Stalkers. That's very interesting. So no Zealots at all to buffer some of the damage.
Yeah, he's got a couple of minutes to his side here, but the second starport's finishing up. We are going to see 4 Vikings at a time from this point on, so we really has to move soon. Hallucinated Colossus to go, and the first bunker going to be targeted down here. Stim Marines on the right-hand side. A couple of force fields do wrap themselves around these Marines.
And Bunny is focusing the wrong Colossus. He did attack the Hallucination, so it did some work. Another Stalker warp in, and Harstem is killing a lot. A 3rd Colossus is joining the force, so I think this is looking pretty good for Harstem. The Viking production, some of the Vikings are stuck in the main base, or not stuck, they are not rallied, so this is really hurting Bunny.
All right, single bunker still, though. Very equal in supplies right now. Is this planned attack from Harstem going to work? He's a little bit low in army supply, but here we go. All the Vikings come down all together now, but the Stalkers do get to work on them quite fast. One Colossus being targeted down, the other one stays alive, but one goes down and the Marauders move forward, stim, and take off the 2nd Colossus, and this attack does not work. Bunny holds on and will take map number 1.
GG, well played, and yeah, basically the time he found all his Vikings, it looked rather easy to defend this attack. So yeah, that was basically the build Harstem told me about, but he also said it's not that great to play it on a map with a ramp like this. Like it's better on let's say Overgrowth, Dead Wing, where you don't have to walk up a ramp. But I guess that Marigo is really the worst map for him in this best of 3 set. because the other two maps, especially Overgrowth, is a very good one. In Foxtrot, I believe Harstem will have a very good game plan, because usually that's the map where you want to play a little bit tricky, where you have a special idea.
Okay, so being a professional player yourself now for what, 10 years roughly? Experience, including Warcraft 3, a very long time now. You're Bunny in this position. You don't really know exactly what to expect from your opponent here, but he opens up game one in this aggressive manner. Do you start to adapt into this? Do you start to have a feel of how this guy's playing? Does it change your playstyle coming into the next map here?
I think he feels very confident. He probably, I mean, he didn't read that it was an all-in.
Right.
He read it when basically the Protoss army was in front of his natural.
Yes.
The bunker started very late, and he still defended it fairly easy. I wouldn't say easy, but he controlled it very well. And when he finally found all the Vikings that were stacking up in the main base, he had enough. He had enough supply, he had enough units, and so I think he feels very confident. I mean, I don't think he will open up CC first, because that's usually what you do only once in best of 3, maybe twice, but. I believe he will open up Reaper this game.
Yeah, we'll. Yeah, I'm interested to see how this game will plan out here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what's going through Harstem's head though? He tries something here, but it doesn't work and gets shut down like that. Is that something that throws him off balance?
Yeah, that's a good question, because Overgrowth is basically the map he wanted to play this build on. We just saw in Marigo, so maybe he is thinking he could just do it again, because Overgrowth is a slightly better map for that. You don't have to walk up the ramp. You can force field the bunkers way more easily, and the Terran doesn't have the high ground advantage he has on Marigo. But I feel like he looks a bit like, I don't know if he looks nervous, but he's definitely thinking about the possibilities of strategies he has in his mind, and he might switch up his playstyle a little bit.
Well, the last couple of times that he has played Overgrowth in WCS, he has managed to win on this map with a couple of Colossus all-ins.
Yeah, exactly. It was a kind of similar build, but without the Immortal, and I think it hit a little bit later because he was getting like 3 Colossus, 7 gates. But I have to say, these games, when he won against Jakji and Kars with it, it looked a bit like Jakji was definitely
mistakes that aided the attack.
There was mistakes by the Terrans that really favored Harstem. So if Bunny did prepare, and I'm pretty sure he watched the games, he will know that he has to be a bit more careful on Overgrowth.
Yeah, I can imagine the feeling of Bunny after that type of attack. He's, well, this guy's kind of prepared this all in versus me. I didn't really do anything different. I just kind of played my game and stopped it. Yeah. So I'm sure that's a nice confidence boost for him. But very calm and collected, I think we can describe Bunny there. Just very calm, knew what to do, got the second starport down as he saw the attack coming, built these bunkers, didn't make any mistakes, kind of understood the situation that he was thrown into, and just kind of reacted very calmly.
And you know, the one Marine on the right side, spotting the probe is basically the difference from knowing what is coming and knowing or not knowing anything. Yeah. Because you see the probe is moving out, you even see the probe Protoss is pulling back the probe to so it can survive. So he definitely wants to have a probe out on the map, and then the scan, of course, also saw the units warping in, and then he knew exactly there's going to be an attack. Probably he didn't know exactly what kind, but I mean, Terrans, they have one answer, and that's going to make bunkers and just stop SCV production, just get pure units.
All right, well, we will start this in a second. We were aware of the sound issue. Hopefully it's all fixed, ready for map number 2 now, which is why it's taken just a second to get into this. But both players have confirmed themselves ready here. Map number 2, Overgrowth, a smaller 2-player map here. Which way will this play out? Historically, we do see Protoss all-ins come from this map here, but likewise, we do see Terran SCV pulls come out on this map as well. But what is the strategy choice here?
That's a good point. If the Protoss goes for a third base, the Terran likes to pull the SCVs.
They do like that.
And the other way around. But yeah, we will find out.
Okay.
We will definitely find out.
Let's jump into this. Harstem versus Bunny, map number 2. As the Team Liquid Terran is leading 1-0. Down here to the bottom left-hand side is the red Protoss player playing for Fnatic. Needs to draw this one and equalize this back up. It is Harstem. And up here to the top right-hand side is the blue Terran player playing for Team Liquid. It is Bunny.
Yeah, I was still thinking about last map, and Harstem told me that you need to be very patient with your force fields and stuff. And I think the very first set of force fields we saw didn't caught any Marines. He was just like separating the army away from the bunkers, and that didn't really help. So maybe he still thinks it should have worked, but he made some micro mistakes in the first fight, or in the first 10 seconds of the fight. Because that's when still the Terran is surprised and maybe the defense is not really set up. Then that's where you can do the most damage usually. And yeah, Bunny is switching it up. As I mentioned before, I was expecting him to go Reaper on this map, and that's exactly what he's going for, with a gas opening. And Harstem, of course, I mean, you have to open like that. You can't go Nexus first on Overgrowth.
All right, so Reaper opening from Bunny.
Do you think we will see an early factory? Because we were talking about that before off cam, that he likes to play early factory. Sometimes with Hellions, sometimes with a Mind.
Yeah, it's been his preferred style a lot in recent times, but I don't know if he started to switch away from it a lot, because he was doing it almost every single game previously. And he's still mining with 3 in gas. I don't know if he's, I mean, just is he going to go up for the reactor and then stop or not? I guess we'll find out shortly. I don't know if he does it.
Oh, and Harstem is not scouting on Overgrowth. That's very interesting. So on the 3-player map, he was scouting, and he got a bit lucky finding Bunny first. And on Overgrowth, he decides not to scout. He's trying to hide the probe behind the natural, but I think the SCV will see it.
Yeah.
So can he eBay block maybe the natural if he was planning to do so?
Nope. Not interested, apparently.
Yep.
So how much gas now has Bunny gone up to? He's up to 82 at this point.
And he's mining more, so he will be at 100 very, very soon. Ah, he's going to get the reactor. Okay.
Still mining, though, but it looks like a factory opening from him.
I think so, too.
And a couple of different possibilities, but the one he does like to use the most is the Widow Mine Marine, more so than Hellions. But I guess there's a couple of combinations that he can try, but he's going to put a bit of pressure onto Harstem at the start. If Harstem opens up anything similar to the previous game with just sentries, he's going to be in trouble. But hopefully he does revert back to, of course, the more standardized opening with the Stalkers.
Yeah, a nice wall on the right side here. The Reaper could only move next to the Nexus, and then you get surrounded by the probes, so Bunny couldn't really jump in. And he didn't see the second and third pylon. Yeah, actually, he only saw a single pylon so far. So there could be definitely some tech be hidden.
Yeah, and he'll be wanting to know what's going on here. The Reaper is hiding behind the natural. And we'll try to go in again very, very shortly here, but the factory's almost done. Marines are being made 2 at a time here. Robotics facility is the tech choice from Harstem. And very smartly expecting or anticipating the Reaper to be behind the mineral lines. Does chase it out.
Yeah, and this time he's getting Stalkers. The first one is popped out. It will patrol close to the ramp. The second one is on the way, and the third one most likely will follow, because that's a very standard opening as a Protoss player. Just now sending down the probes. And on the other hand, we do have the Starport and the Widow Mine. So that's exactly what you mentioned before. And the Reaper, yeah, it just died. Yeah.
And how many Stalkers is ideal here? I guess the more the better, right? I suppose.
You get 3 out of the gateway before it turns, and then you make warp gates, and then you have one warp in. If you chrono boost, maybe 2, but you don't chrono boost the gate. So
what does it come down to then? Just the position of your units, maybe reactions, I suppose?
Positioning of your units. It's very, very important to have good positioning. It really depends on what the Terran tries to do. Some of them just try to get control of the ramp, like with the Widow Mines and the Marines, and some of them try to fly into the mineral line.
Is it possible here that maybe Harstem has tunnel vision? I mean, he hasn't scouted anything throughout the entire of the game, and, you know, factory play can be possible, but it isn't super common, so it's not like you're prepared for this every single game. Is this something he's even thinking about here? The possibility of this?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this opening he's choosing is actually not bad against factory opening at all. He's getting the Immortal, so I think we will see the same stuff again. Just with later sentries this time.
Okay.
Because the Immortal, you usually never get the Immortal, unless you scout like a 3-Rex with Stim and Combat Shield, then you want to make an Immortal before the Colossus.
Well, Harstem does see these Marines in the middle of the map here.
And more importantly, the Medivac.
Over and the Medivac now heading over. So he knows that this has been a fast factory opening, and he's got to prepare himself. He's given himself a good heads up, though, so there's plenty of time to get into position and get ready to react here. And I'm sure he's maybe even already thinking about defending this and thinking about the next attack that's coming up, because he knows during all of this, the barracks haven't even completed yet. Yeah. And here comes the Medivac. Harstem in position. Bunny's going to spot the Immortal very early on, too. But Marines walking down to the natural. Photon overcharge is deployed. Probes must move to not take losses.
Very good reaction by Harstem. He didn't lose a single probe at the natural. And he deflected the Medivac before it was entering the base. But Bunny, is very tricky, flying on the left side here.
Yeah,
and he's getting in.
And he is moving in time here. The first Widow Mine is shut down. The second one is going to be attempted to get shut down, and it does at the last second there. So perfect defense here from Harstem. He's going to chase the medivac if he gets that as well.
Maybe with moving shot of the Stalker.
Boost.
Nope, gets away.
All right, so perfect defense there from the Dutch Protoss player. But now we have 5 gateways coming in. The Colossus, the Immortal. As mentioned, all he had to do was defend that, which I'm pretty sure he was confident in doing so. And now the follow-up is ready.
Yeah, and look at this. Stimpack just started 20 seconds ago. So I think if the second Colossus pops and Harstem is on the other side of the map with a few sentries, he can do a lot of damage. Bunny is even getting a 3rd CC.
Does he have any idea what's going on right now?
I guess no.
The funny thing is he saw an extra gateway going up to a total of 4 in total if he saw the one of the natural being made, whether he was able to click onto that being a gateway or not. But, I mean, surely you're not throwing down your command center on that 3rd base like this if you know an attack is coming.
No, definitely not. And Harstem is placing pylons on the right side of the map very nicely behind the watchtower vision, so the Marine can't see the probe.
No bunkers, nothing. The observer sees the army, he knows it just moved to the left there. And optimal position for Harstem to equalize this one up. Let's see if he can execute this.
Yeah. He doesn't have the gas for a 3rd Colossus right now. Just now 200. Let's see if he starts one, because he's already on the way, so most likely he will spend it into Stalkers,
All right. Bunny has got a medivac. Only a single medivac with that army.
This army looks so weak of Bunny. It's like 10 Marines, 2 Marauders, and a single medivac.
And he still doesn't know what's going on. I think he may have spotted it now, because a Marine just there saw the Colossus poke up. And bunker starting. Second one maybe here coming in.
Stim is still 50 seconds away. 50 seconds, so that's another warp in, plus good force fields and kill the Terran before Stimpack is ready.
Yep, here we go. Harstem's going to jump in at the perfect time here, and he starts the siege onto the bunker. It's cancelled immediately, and a very tricky situation now from Bunny. There's a lot of force fields available here to cut these Marines up, divide the SCVs as well if they try to launch themselves. Targeting down the command center for the first
20 seconds on the Stimpack. That's the timing. Bunny is waiting for it. Harstem should realize that Bunny is waiting for something very certain, and man, if he force field, okay, there he goes. Decent force field, not the best, but he got a chunk of the army.
5 or 6 Marines in a Marauder. He's also force filled the ramp, so these units can't get down. The command center's lifted. There's still force fields available here. Vikings are starting to come in. Here's the Stim, and he's going to turn around and fight it. Sporadic force fields there, 4 or 5 of them, and these units are, you know, they can't get through. There's that one area to get through, which of course the Colossus is going to maximize their damage. In Harstem, 40 supply ahead. Yeah,
it's looking very good for Harstem. I mean, the force fields were overlapping, but he achieved what he wanted. Yes, to micro his Colossus, that's what he does. The Immortal is providing a lot of DPS against the Marauders. And yeah, the Marines are dying so quickly. GG. Well played by Harstem, and very interesting to see that basically what I was mentioning, he was probably thinking the same, like damn this ramp on Merigo and damn my force fields, why didn't I cut his army?
This is a good strategy!
It should have worked, but I really messed up. And so, as he told me, on Overgrowth, it looks very strong, and so he was going for the same. But I have to say, I think Bunny put himself behind with a meta. He definitely did that, because his Stimpack was so late and he achieved no damage at all. So,
and with that build, you pretty much have to do damage when you open up like that.
Yeah, you have to. 0
was inflicted. And Harstem, beautiful defense, and just nailed the follow-up counterattack, which he already had plans to do anyway. So it was just, all the stars aligned really there for Harstem to be able to pick up that second map. But now, third map, the decider, to see who goes through to the winner's match here to play in a best-of-3 to advance in first place or, of course, go down to the decider one. Foxtrot Labs is going to be the third map here. Talk us through this one for, both sides, really.
Let us think together. Okay. Do you think we will see a long game or a very aggressive one of Harstem once again? Like
I think a longer one from Harstem this time. We watched these games back against Jakchi, and this is the map that he did win on in the decider. I think it was the third map against Jakchi. And he set himself up for double forge, and he made a switch away from Colossus to High Templar, which then Jakchi SCV pulled into, and it was the perfect opportunity for Harstem to take that victory.
I mean, Foxtrot is a very weird map, and we do have 2 different spawn locations, right? So like top left and bottom right, you don't have a ramp in front of your natural. So maybe Harstem would go for the same build again.
It depends on the positions you're saying.
And if he has like bottom left and top right, maybe he's going for the macro style you just mentioned, with like 1 or 2 Colossus, maybe 3, and then into Storm. I also could see some kind of an Immortal all-in. I personally don't like the build too much, but I've seen it lately. It has been working. And it felt like a little bit like the Terrans forgot how to react against it, because for a while they never died to it, and then at a certain point they started to die again. So let's see and wait for the spawning positions.
Let's imagine Harstem winning this. He would deliver the first win or the first loss, more so, for Bunny in the last 16 games against non-Koreans, the last 9 weeks. Harstem would deliver that win over to Bunny, currently on a 15-game winning streak in best of 1, 3, and 5s.
Yeah.
Incredible record here, as we always see him losing against Koreans in the deeper stages of tournaments, but having an easier time versus the Europeans. Let's find out if he can do it. Up here to the top right-hand side is the red Protoss player, of course, playing for Fnatic. As Kolars would say, hailing from the Netherlands, it's Harstem. You think he uses hailing quite a lot, so... And of course, down here is the blue Terran player playing for Team Liquid, coming from Denmark. It's Bunny. And we'll see if he can go to the winner's match, advance to that winner's match, or if he would, to the surprise of many, go down to the lower bracket. Many people expecting that to happen here.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, for me personally, I thought it was a very even match. But of course, on the paper, Bunny is definitely the favorite here. So we do have the position. It looks like Bunny is going for a CC first once more. Keep in mind, this map is only cross position, so it's basically a 2-player map. I mean, you have 4 spawning positions, but you know exactly where the opponent spawns.
So in these positions then, instead of being top left and bottom right, is this pushing Harstem to potentially more of a slower pace game, a more passive game, more so than the aggressive one in the opposite ways, as you were saying before?
I would say so, yeah. But Funka is pointing out the rocks on the right side here of the natural of the Terran.
Yeah.
If you take down the rocks, maybe you can do something, but keep in mind the Terran will most likely set up a concave, so you can't really push in. So yeah, if I would have to make a call, I think Harstem is going to play it a bit more slowly with Blink, Colossus, at least a single Forge, maybe even 2.
Yeah, and if you think back to a lot of Harstem's wins, as good as he is at executing these type of 2-base attacks, he's got a lot of wins from the later stage of the game where he camps outside his opponents, you know, whatever mining base it is at that time, with pylon and cannons and high Templar coming from every single angle. And we talked about it a bit before, is that if he's able to get into that position, he's very good in it.
Yeah.
But it's whether he gets there is the main question.
And you know what? Like we have a Protoss chat in Skype, and Harstem is part of it, and he actually coached us this style where you set up pylons, high Templars, Colossus. He was telling us exactly what your army composition should be, how you try to harass the Terran with the Zealots and stuff like that, because that is a very important point in his late games. His Zealot run-bys are always extremely efficient. And I hope we will see that game, because Bunny is also a very good late-game player. No doubt about that. So he's definitely able to defend things like that as well.
So, I mean, as a player here, since these builds are quite standardized for the time being with a regular forward from Bunny and the regular opening so far from Harstem, if you were to name 3 characteristics of Bunny, what makes him the player he is, could you name a couple of things that when you play him, you're like, oh god, this guy's really good at this, very good at doing this?
Okay,
what stands out for Bunny as a player?
Like at the last Home Story Cup, for example, I had Bunny in my group. So back then, for me, the most crucial point was this guy has a very, very strong SCV pool with +1, like +2 attack, 1 armor, and like 3 ghost. He was extremely deadly with that. But also that he never got the bunker at the 3rd base. That was very important. And he loved to get a second starport. And we did see that on Marigo already when he saw the Colossus. So that didn't change, I guess. I mean, I didn't watch too many PVTs of him lately. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that he fixed the no bunker at the 3rd. Yeah. Because he lost a few games because of that. We will find out, because I think so far he always tried to get a 3rd CC pretty early on.
Is something like, faking Colossus into Storm, is that something potentially Harstem could look at as a potential way to play this out? Yeah, it's coming back a little bit. In Wings of Liberty, we almost saw the switch from Colossus to High Templars very early on, almost every game, but in Heart of the Swarm it changed a little bit. Because the Terrans got an easier scouting tool with the Reaper, and the Widow Mines obviously are very, very strong against Charge Lot, High Templar playstyle. But it's possible, definitely. Okay. Well, Harstem has seen this Reaper as the Reaper's been built once again, just like game 1 here for Bunny, to try and get some extra information. 2 Stalkers are waiting for it and are going to pounce on it immediately. And with the pylon on the high ground, he will get picked off. So 3 Stalkers alone was seen. But of course, 3 Stalkers were built in the previous game, which turned into a Colossus attack. So as much as you've seen 3 Stalkers here, it doesn't give him that much information, Bunny.
But we know he's getting a second observer, and that's he never got that before on map 2.
So we know.
Yeah, we know.
Bunny doesn't know.
That's true.
But Bunny, 3 barracks setup. He's also got Marines still in his mineral line here.
Oh, he's afraid of an Oracle. Yeah.
And a
he's
scan.
using a scan.
And he sees
nothing.
Nothing of importance, really.
He didn't even see the second observer pop.
Yeah.
Like, this is extremely annoying for him. He might set up a second bunker. I could believe that we will see a second bunker at the front. But we will have to wait a few more seconds. He's getting the starport, of course, and Harstem will get a very good scout with his observer.
Does Harstem want to throw down a Forge in Twilight soon?
Yeah.
Okay, there's the Twilight Council coming in for Blink here, as Hazweb did mention a little bit earlier on, and I'm sure a Forge will follow that immediately anyway. But the observer has a good look inside here. Sees the starport on the way, flicks back, and is going to see a command center being built here as well. So the light is green for Harstem in this game. Yeah. To not be worried too much of heavy aggression coming out from the Liquid Terran.
So he's taking down the rocks at the left side, and the question is, will he put the Nexus straight away? Because I believe Foxtrot, they both probably doesn't have too much practice on it, so maybe he can hide it for a little bit, because there's one Marauder scouting to the right. I don't know why it's a Marauder, not a Marine, but he will check the third base on the right side, and maybe not on the left for a while, but it's just me thinking about it, and it doesn't look like Harstem wants to take the risk, and I can definitely understand that. You want to get Blink before you start your third Nexus.
And Harstem does have 2 observers spotting on his right flank here in case drops were to come, which they will start shortly, of course, with the medevac's coming out to try and keep eyes on that. No thermal lance, Mr. Hazwobs.
Not yet, but
Not yet.
I wouldn't really overrate that yet, because let's see if he's getting a second Colossus.
Well, his second one's out now, no?
Oh, sorry, a third one.
Yeah.
My bad.
Third one's out, or on its way, and now thermal lance does start. Okay. And bit of an engagement in the middle though. 3 Stalkers.
No concussive.
No concussive shells. They will run away, and Bunny didn't really know where the rest of the army was, so didn't want to commit to a stim there, as there are sentries, well, a sentry and Colossus not too far away.
He needs to chrono boost his Blink, and no, not a good scan, but a decent one. At least he knows the army is back at the natural, and he's...
Yeah,
where is his army is going off, Bunny? Is he checking for a hidden base?
I have no idea what that's about.
That's very interesting.
Medevac's coming back to get it. Guys, get back over here. This is a matter of importance. The third base is to the right, not up there.
Yeah. So he did see the Nexus going up. Harstem is in a solid position so far.
So at this point, it's surely just don't take damage. Don't take damage. Don't allow a drop in. Don't allow the third base to expose while the game builds up.
Yeah. That is extremely important, and find out if there is a second starport or an armory and double eBay.
Very interesting Widowmine drop kind of randomly in this game here by Bunny. 2 Widowmines in a medevac here.
But there are like 8 Stalkers.
They are, and they can jump right on top of this. Harstem has observers in position here. At the same time, we do see Bunny threatening that left-hand side, though. Harstem's ready, and he blinks on top, and he will kill the medevac inside the main base without a single loss here. And on the left-hand side...
with Guardian Shield and Thermal Lance, he should be able to... Almost only Marines. Yeah, we do see...
no Thermal Lance right now. 15 seconds away.
Yeah.
And Bunny has cleaned up the front of this. He's cleaning up the Stalkers now, and the 3 Colossus and now the Photon Overcharge will push this back, but he did lose a little bit there.
Yeah, he will lose the Viking as well. He didn't kill a single Colossus. He did kill the Sentry, but not too much overall. So I think that was fine for Harstem. He didn't take too much damage. He's on 55 probes against 66 SCVs right now. So he really has to keep producing probes and maybe even chrono boost the Nexus ones, like all the Nexus ones.
Yeah, you did bring up a point before whether Harstem would see the double engineering bay or not, but he has seen everything inside the main base here.
Yeah.
And has also fallen back to decide to take his gases on the third. And Temple Archive is now finished up with Storm on the way. We're getting closer and closer towards that later part of the game now.
Yeah, and he mixes in Immortals right now. That's a trend we saw, I don't know, like the last 2, 3, maybe even 4 months, especially MC. I was one of the protos who always did that. And whenever I saw that, I was like, I don't think that should work, but it always worked for him. Like, the Immortals add a lot of DPS in the mix, and sometimes the Terrans are stimming forward with Marauders, trying to get the Colossus. And if they do that, the Immortals are going crazy. They kill the Marauders so quickly. We do see a Warp Prism, by the way.
Yeah.
Before he starts any additional Robo units. Storm is almost done, so he should be fine if there is an attack coming.
So you'd say an equal game so far at this point?
I think it will develop into a very nice game. Unless someone just dies right now randomly. I don't think it is possible, but you never know.
Anything's possible, man. You could walk into a storm per se, and
yeah,
not likely though. Not likely to happen at this level.
Nice move there by Harstem, jumping over the rocks to see the Terran army with just a single Stalker.
And I think the Warp Prism was spotted by that Marauder on the third base. The Vikings are moving in position to catch it, so unfortunately this will get shut down if he finds the Warp Prism, which he should do.
Yeah, he should spread his Vikings a little bit, like 2 on the bottom, 2 to the right, things like that. What do the upgrades say? Okay, the second Forge is finally on the game. So +3 armor, +1 attack, while the Terran is getting 2/2.
And the Vikings never found the Warp Prism, so that Warp Prism actually can come into this game if they don't find it.
They should wait.
Yeah. So, I mean, is there a window of opportunity for either of these players? I suppose, obviously, Harstem's is at 200 when he's taking his 4th and has everything he wants around, but more so Bunny, can he move out soon for a potential good and well-taken fight?
Maybe with the first Ghost that pop. If he has enough scan to see all the High Templars, maybe. And for Harstem, I don't know if he's... actually, he wants to wait for a few more upgrades, I think, even if he has 200 supply. The Warp Prism is flying in, but there's a missile turret.
Yeah, but it still floats in. He's into the main base as well, and those Vikings have let Bunny down here.
Yeah.
3 Zealots come into the main base, and they will just about warp in. I'm going to harass the mineral lines a little bit. And a lot of SCVs have gone down on that natural. 7, 8 SCVs went down. Yeah,
good focus fire, and still more focus fire in the main base. He's queuing up the SCVs, as you can see. Yeah. He's not focusing any of the units.
Very nice attack there from Harstem, 11 in total. Considering that the Warp Prism was spotted, that really shouldn't have happened. But +2 attack for the Vikings now on the way for Bunny. And he's a decent setup for his army size. +3 attack now started as well. But Harstem's taken his 4th. He's working on his upgrades. Doesn't really have a large attack upgrade. Only just now finishing with +1, but very soon with +3 armor.
The Zealot will kill the SCV on the 4th, so the bunker, sorry, the CC won't be finished. And there's no bunker at the 3rd, so once again the Zealots are doing some damage.
Storm on the edge of those Vikings. That could have been a little bit more deadly than it actually was. Bunny moving down here with the Ghosts and his units. And we are going to see a fight here. He's got the ramp covered, so this 4th is gone already.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no way with this covered.
Yeah, you have to cancel it and accept the loss there. He did some damage to the Terran as well, so, I mean, it hurts, but it's not like game-ending.
Chasing 3 Vikings down there. Nice move for a Stalker by the looks of it. No, saves the Stalker, and the Storm catches the end. The second one catches even more units, so very good trade-off there. 3 or 4 Vikings, 3 Vikings, I think, and 2 decent Storms.
Swapping in a lot of Zealots on the left side. They are going for a counterattack, but they will be killed before they are actually leaving. Only a few of them.
Potentially could be a game-winning and ending fight here. The units on the ramp. Oh no! Harstem's stuck on his natural here.
Nice
and this is great position here. And there's the blink forward. Though the Vikings incredibly clumped up there. They take a couple of massive storms there. Stalker's trying to get to them. But Bunny takes the 3rd base out here. He's still got position on the ramp. EMP's gone down. Harstem can't defend his 3rd base. And he has to retreat back up here.
Yeah, this position was horrible for Harstem. As you said, he couldn't walk down the ramp. There's a counter-attack on the 3rd. By the way, he never fixed the problem with no bunker, but he has units there. he's losing a few Ghosts on the retreat. The supply is fairly similar, but keep in mind that Bunny's on 4 bases.
Oh, and Harstem chasing down a Ghost or 2 there at the end. Yeah. He's still got 3 Colossus to 6 weakened Vikings here. Potentially an opportunity, but we are going to have to see the 3rd rebuilt. The 4th going to have to come up, and Harstem does take a pretty big cut to his income.
But yeah, in that fight, you realize that you're lacking a bit of experience on that map as a player. Like, Harstem didn't know exactly where to position his army perfectly.
Yeah.
So he was basically stuck on his natural ramp, couldn't walk down because EMP Vikings and the concave of the bio units were too strong. So...
And a lot of probes were killed off in that as well. I'm not sure if you saw a good 20, a good chunk of probes were killed there. So you'd say naturally that Bunny has a slight advantage now. I mean, he's on 4 lines of income. Well, actually, it's kind of nice to see these 2 Stalkers there on that 4th base. It's going to be a bit annoying, but
they are seen by the sensor tower, so most likely they won't kill too many units.
Oh, Bunny's moving forward though.
How many Storms do we? How many High Templars?
5 Colossus here as well.
Yeah, it's double Robo. If I guess
It's going to be 7 Colossus soon.
Oh, and he does have High Templars in the Warp Prism. Oh, the Ghosts were dying before they were actually getting the EMP.
And some great Storms and great Blinks here on the right-hand side. The Vikings are so important, considering there's 5 or 7 Colossus here. And another great set of Storms on the left-hand side. And Harstem takes a beautiful engagement here. Great spread, though, from Bunny, who's going to clamp in from all around at this point. But does Harstem have enough in front of his Colossus? One of his being targeted down, but it stays alive here. And wow, what a crazy fight.
4 Colossus are still alive. All the Vikings have been killed. And that was, as you mentioned, that was crazy. I believe Bunny was expecting his first 2 cloaked Ghosts to land the EMPs, but instead they got picked off straight away. And now, once again, the supply count is even. +3 is on the way for Harstem.
What a game here.
It's the last upgrade he's missing. Bunny is missing the armor upgrade for his Bio Forces. He did Mule on his 4th base, so he will get a lot of income for now.
Yeah, but really comes to show that Terran versus Protoss is mostly all about the engagements here. And
yeah.
Both of these players taking good engagements. I think that was a very good engagement from Harstem. It was very well salvaged, I think, by Bunny at that time as well. But once again, they just rebound off each other. And the game continues on. 22 minutes now, and still just 1-1. And the winner of this goes to the winners match here. A big game for Harstem. And equally, a big game here for Bunny not to lose.
Yeah. Bunny was a little bit careless of his Vikings. I believe he thought he could just kill the Protoss army, or didn't expect so many Colossus, because we have 6 Colossus and double Robo. So if he starts more, there we go. Another Warp Prism as well.
And the Warp Prism did fly into that fight and towards the back there as well. We just caught the tail end of it, landing a couple of very important Storms there.
Yeah, one beautiful Storm came out of the Warp Prisms. The other High Templar was sniped straight away by Bunny, so very good focus fire.
Back up to 170 supply here. Harstem's got 70 probes in the field. Bunny 60 currently. You think 70 is okay? It seems slightly high, no?
As a Protoss, you mean?
Yeah.
I'd
70
say
okay?
For now, it's okay. Yeah. If you max out and you start to get a little bit of bank, you can definitely throw away a few probes. Where did the second Warp Prism go? Did I miss it?
It is around somewhere. I do not know where. There's one. There is another one somewhere. It's with the army with the Colossus in it, very surprisingly.
Yeah. They are both actually located at the 4th. Yeah, he will probably find out about the Warp Prism soon. And
But Harstem's starting to set some pylons up around the map now to get some of that Harstem harassment going on, the double H.
Bunny is getting more and more CCs. He does have sensor towers, so he sees the Zealots.
Even a nuke is available here for Bunny with his Ghosts.
Oh yeah, you're right, yeah. He's getting the armor for the Vikings as well.
Ooh, Warp Prism coming around this left-hand side here as well. Aiming for that
Storm
juicy 4th base.
Not too many SCVs though, but still worth it if you get every single one.
And in the middle of the map here, we also have a very unplanned engagement. While the nuke goes on, Harstem was not looking at that, trying to set up his forward cannons. So we have the nuke to the top left, which is...
The High Templars, oh my god. All the IP'd.
And there's a couple more backed up, though. There are 4 more, but these units are clumped up. And again, Harstem's on this ramp. He's going to be clumped up here for the EMPs to come into play.
Oh my god. What?
And he's stuck on the ramp again here.
2 more Storms. There's 1 more Storm on the High Templars at the Nexus. It's going down before he can land a Storm.
Yeah.
Oh my god, and Harstem is falling apart here. The nuke really confused him.
Yeah, he was not quite sure there. And the Vikings turn around to try and take a fight. Harstem loses another base here.
That was so painful.
It was the combination of the nuke going down. He was trying to drop those High Templar at the same time, and then all of a sudden a fight was happening in the middle of the map that he wasn't quite prepared for or really ready to take.
Yeah, that was rude. He lost, like he had 12 High Templars and now he is down to 3.
And again, Harstem caught in a difficult place here. 1 Storm lands but doesn't really hit anything there. 5 Colossus damage in a good position here for Bunny again.
Yeah, he can't walk down. It's just impossible to walk down there. Is he going to get the Vikings? Maybe with a Storm and a Blink, because they are rather low.
Cloaked up and a forward EMP there. Vikings go into the fight, going to take down these Colossus rather well here. The bio isn't that spread, so all taking a lot of damage from the splash damage that the Archons and that Storm and Colossus provide here, but it looks like there's going to be too much Terran here as Bunny stretches to 150 supply to 70. And it is over. GG, well played. Good series between both of them.
Oh, he looks happy. Very, very happy and very relieved that he won that game.
And it is Bunny who is our first contender in the winners game here today. A cool series between both of them and a fantastic 3rd game. Good.
Definitely, yeah. It
well
was
played.
Well played by Bunny. a bit messy by Harstem in the end. The last big engagement was, I think maybe his High Templars were in the control group, or he didn't know exactly where they were. Because 4 of them got EMP'd, and then the other one he had to use like panic storms, and everything was clumped. As you mentioned, he was walking up the ramp again. He didn't have time warp in that fight either, so it was very hard to get a good fight for him. Or a good engagement.
Yeah, it seems that was the key, not mistake here, but the key problem for Harstem there was just trying to be in the position at the right time in the right place to kind of accept these engagements. A little bit unfortunate there for him. I'm sure he's going to be a little bit disappointed with not being able to pick up that series, but it is Bunny who moves through. Harstem falls down to our lower bracket game, which of course is going to have to be playing the loser of our next series coming up very, very shortly. But either way, a good display of StarCraft from both sides. Very entertaining last game there, for sure. And Harstem will now have to play the loser of either Happy or Mini Razor in our next game. But before we even get close to that, Red-Eye is standing by with Bunny.
Indeed I am, yes. Well done, congratulations, Bunny. Great 2-1 win, but a tough match overall, I think would be fair to say. Let's talk about each game independently. Game 1. Was it just a case of sitting back, waiting for that attack to come and then defending on the ramp? I mean, he seemed to get caught up with the ramp a lot, and that sort of seemed like his downfall.
Yeah, my first Reaper saw his robotics facility was really early, so already there I had an idea of what he was going to do. That build is also pretty popular in merry-go-round, so I was pretty sure that was what he was going to do. I've also practiced with Vilmo quite a lot, like for TVP just in general throughout the times, and he really likes those kind of attacks, so I'm really comfortable with defending them.
Yeah, I think I think Sean actually said it in the commentary that it's something we know he's confident with, and it should have worked, I think was the quote that Sean used. But why didn't it work for him, and was it just literally you knew that's what was coming?
Yeah, I saw it pretty early with my Marine on the map and the robotics facility. So I made 2 Vikings after my first 2 medevacs, which really helps in defending it, because if you don't see anything, you're just going to make 4 medevacs, and then it's going to be a lot harder. My bunkers were a little bit too late, but yeah, the 2 Vikings helped quite a bit.
And game 2, much better. Everything starts to work. His defense doesn't seem quite so good as it did in game 1. Talk me through game 2.
Well, game 2 was the game where he did defend my factory play. And yeah, what can I say? His defense was pretty much perfect. I didn't kill a single unit, and from there was kind of hard to win. I tried to take an early third to maybe make up for it, but he just went and capitalized on his advantage, just killed me. Not much I could do after the start.
And map 3, much longer game. I think everyone was anticipating a longer game. You certainly were anticipating a much longer game. Why do you think that worked out the way it did in the end?
I think he made some positioning mistakes. There was a lot of times where his army was a little bit out of position, especially at the third base. Like the first fight where I got to kill his third for free was really big, because you can't really go down that narrow ramp on that map. So yeah, he needed more map vision, and also I think the double-pronged attack I did where I nuked one base and attacked the other base, he like kind of fell apart and got his High Templar EMP'd and stuff. So yeah, went according to plan.
Yeah, that was actually the point I was going to bring up, because when he managed to do that to any player, it's kind of mind-crippling sometimes, isn't it? You've attacked one with a nuke, and then you attacked another one and took it down at the same time. It's almost like chaos ensues after that. I mean, not much room for him to come back after that.
Yeah, I don't think so. The nuke is kind of so good at distracting, because especially in high-pressure situations, if people see like the nuke signal, they kind of panic. So if you force them to multitask while that's going on, it's kind of easy to pick them apart usually.
How are you feeling right now in terms of, you've had a great summer. Gfinity was fantastic. Other tournaments that you've not got through the round of 16, we've not seen you go further. But with Gfinity, you proved that you can do it against some great players in the world. So once you've broken that mental barrier of, finally getting through the round of 16 and going on to win, the next one's easy, right?
Yeah, I think I definitely improved a lot on my nerves, like not as nervous for matches as I used to be, and I think I can show my true skill now better than in the past. So
good luck, and got another game to go, but just one game away from making the round of 8 for the first time. So good luck in that one. Bunny then going through into the next match. We do have to find out next who he's going to play, though, when we come back after the break.